As somebody who's played Destiny since I was 11 years old, I am now 23, and I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on what has happened regarding the game in the recent days. This news, if you don't know, Destiny 2 is effectively canceled, and the Destiny franchise as a whole is effectively canceled. This news has been spread around like wildfire, not only the Destiny community, but also outside of the Destiny community with mixed reactions. There's been some people claiming that there will be a Destiny 3, or that Destiny 3 is going to be some phenomenal comeback that Bungie really needed. There's some people saying that Destiny is dead. Those people may be correct. There's a lot of things pointing in a lot of different directions. However, it is looking very bleak at the moment and not good in any way, shape, or form. The easiest way to say this is that they posted a blog on May 21st around the normal time that a TWID or would drop This Week in Destiny post, and it basically just says, for almost 12 years, we've had the joy and honor of exploring the Destiny universe with you all. Through all of the ups and downs, surprises, and triumphs, building Destiny alongside our players has been a monumental privilege. While our love for Destiny 2 has not changed, it has become clear that after the final shape, we have reached the time for our shared worlds and Destiny to live beyond Destiny 2. They bring up a good point here. Destiny 2 definitely should have ended after the final shape, and that's when incubation of Destiny 3 probably should have started, because in all reality, Edge of Fate was one of the worst updates to happen to the game. The only other time that I've been as mad as I was during Edge of Fate with the direction of the game was around the time that Curse of Osiris came out, and I realized that Destiny Vanilla was just absolutely terrible. After that, we had Warmind, which was pretty good, and then we had Forsaken, which is, in my opinion, the gold standard and greatest Destiny expansion of all time. With all of that being said, this post comes out. There's a lot of good stuff in there about the June 9th update, which will be a fucking banger. There's zero way around it. It's going to be a good update. But the question then becomes, why couldn't we have always had this? Why was this something that you have to do as a last hurrah? And that's a question that actually I'm going to answer for you, because right after this article gets posted, people are coping. They say at the end of that sentence that I just read, we have reached the time for our shared worlds and Destiny to live beyond Destiny 2. So there was a lot of copium happening, a lot of hopium getting huffed, and the idea that Destiny 3 was right around the corner was a big one. This was almost instantly shot down by Bloomberg, maybe 2 or 3 hours after that initial post went up. Bloomberg posted an article titled, Bungie plans layoffs after ending Destiny 2 development. Sony Group Corp's Bungie unit is planning a significant number of layoffs as it ends development on long-running online shooter game Destiny 2, according to people familiar with the studio's plans. The article goes into more detail, but I want to read 2 more paragraphs from the article. The company doesn't have a new project lined up for Destiny 2's development team after the game comes to an end next month. According to the people who asked not to be identified because they weren't authorized to speak it to the press, Bungie doesn't plan to immediately enter production on Destiny 3, they said. The number of job cuts is not known. So, Destiny 3 is not in development. And you might be wondering, okay, so what are they working on? What's the plan then? What is the idea here? Well, they go on to say, Bungie staff are looking to pitch and begin development for new projects, including the Destiny franchise, but none have been greenlit, and there's no guarantee that any will moving forward in this challenging market that has led companies like Sony to raise prices and cut costs. Headquartered in Bellevue, Washington, Bungie is one of the more expensive studios to operate, given the cost of paying tech-savvy workers in suburban Seattle and the longevity of its staff. Bungie's leaders had talked about ways to retool Destiny 2 to make it more approachable for new players, but earlier this year they instead decided to end development of the game, partly to shift resources to Marathon. Marathon was a really bad idea financially. If we look at the entirety of what that game has encompassed, it is the idea that you can take Destiny 2 dungeon and raid mechanics, put them in an extraction shooter, and somehow taking those 2 very niche markets in gaming, you will make the most successful game of all time. Marathon is good. I've played Marathon. It's a great game. However, you need to sit back and look at the optics of that game and realize that you have made an extraction shooter, which is already a very niche market. Sure, Arc Raiders popped off, but they were doing this before Arc Raiders even came out. And 2, the idea that you can take dungeon and raid mechanics, which there are a lot of people in Destiny who just played Strikes, but the idea that you can take dungeon and raid mechanics, put them in a hardcore PvP game, a hardcore PvE game, and that will sell well. Sell gangbusters, at $40 a pop, which it will not. It's very obvious that it will not, given that it has less players right now than Destiny 2 does. Literally, we'll put screenshots on the screen to show that. So this all comes out, and you're probably wondering to yourself, I thought DMG and all these people at Bungie were saying that, the update was going to come out and it was going to be awesome, and they retooled it and they were going to rework everything and it was going to be great. And you'd be right, because Paul Tassi, who's very familiar in the Destiny industry, responded to a tweet. This tweet was by Mathrock, who said, Yo, at DMG. I promise I won't be mad for how long. Did you guys know this was coming? I understand the commercial reasons for having to be quiet, but I genuinely would be curious to know how early it was communicated internally. Paul Tassi then responded, who, again, has friends at Bungie, has people he knows and insiders. Almost all of Bungie did not know about this until it was announced. As an addendum to this, there were some devs working on June content that did know, but were prevented from sharing. Can imagine how tough that was. So my immediate thought in this was, okay, well, if that's the case, then how did they work on something like Moments of Triumph? That's crazy. Like, they got that done that fast, which is somebody actually said. Somebody named Mr. New Vegas 97 said, how did they make a Moments of Triumph and not know that it's a final update? And Paul Tassi responded, it's just a modified normal event. So can you imagine knowing that your game is going to die and you're probably going to get fired or moved to a game that you, I'm assuming, didn't want to work on because otherwise you'd probably already be there, and you now have to retool the ending of the game that you've worked on for God knows how long to make it a unofficial ending of sorts? That is depressing, and truthfully it makes me quite upset. So with Destiny 2 ending, the director's back, which is huge. Pantheon is here. Galron is in Pantheon, which is one of my favorite bosses of all time. A lot of weapons and armor are getting re-added. SRL is making a return. Bungie makes a very big point here of the idea that you can continue to go back to Destiny 2 and keep playing it for fun. But I feel like a lot of players within a month or two will probably get over the game, given that they know there's nothing to work towards, no aspirational content, and knowing they've seen all of the story concluded, which it's another thing. Your Guardian's just done. There's no way that they do anything with this character again. So this Guardian effectively is dead. Bungie makes it very clear that you'll be able to continue to play Destiny 1 and 2. The servers will remain up somehow. That's great, and I'm happy that you can go back and play that stuff. DCV got no mention, which is fucking insane. So a lot of shit that people wanted to come back will probably never come back, and they'll never be able to play it again, even though they paid for it. Which I'm not one of the DCV, shills, but that is crazy that the game is ending and there's genuinely no way to download that stuff again. Yeah, with all this being said, I just wonder why the director coming back, Pantheon 2.0, SRL, all this stuff that we're getting at the end of the game, and the before it closes, its final update. I just wonder why it took them this long to get to this point, and if they always had the ability to do an update like this, why weren't they just more transparent about that, and why didn't we just wait longer between updates if they could be this packed with content? And this would definitely, if they would have just done this for the past 2 or 3 updates, this would have saved the game. 3 things that would have saved the game: don't make Marathon, drop the portal, and make the 9 saga more intriguing to people who don't know what's going on. That's my hot take. If you want to, scream at me in the comments, go ahead. But I'm just really upset and aggravated at Bungie and the mismanagement of the game. I'm not mad at anybody who worked on Marathon. I'm not mad that Marathon was made. I just think it was poor decision-making and poor financial views on their part to think that that was the way forward, because it wasn't. Bungie should have stuck with Destiny. Fuck Sony. Fuck Bungie. Fuck Pete Parsons. I hope everybody who had any fucking say in this and any idea of what they've just done knows that they just ruined probably 900 people's lives, or 800 people, whoever's at the studio. You ruined everybody's lives. You made the worst decision you could have made. And I know that you'll be regretting it the second that this game's player count shoots up on June 9th. Yeah, so long story short, fuck all of you. I can't even bring myself to play the game right now. Everybody who's watching this, if you're a fan of Destiny, I'm sorry. And I know it feels like losing a second home, which sounds corny as fuck. I'm sure I'll get clipped and put on Twitter. But yeah, thank you if you watched.